Hello everybody, and welcome back to Another Life Worth Living. Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to my video. Today we are doing an Arrtx marker review. I just got this 80¢. It was about $45 on Amazon, and I was really excited for these. I love that the text is printed on. They feel very high quality, just like my Copics. And I am very curious to see if these stand up to my Copics, because if they do, I'm switching, especially since they just came out with the new brush markers. I will be doing a review on this next week, possibly. Leave a like and comment down below if you guys would like to see that review next week. But let's see if the regular Arrtx set can compare to the Copics. Let's get into it. Okay, so today I'm going to be using the Sakura Pigma Microns. I always have used these. I've never really had any problems with them, but I'm also going to be using this new Uniball Sigma broad tip, and I'm going to see how this works. So what I'm testing is the smudging. I want to see if it's going to smudge the black or the brown, and I also want to see if you can color over the white with the markers, and if the white can cover the markers without soaking up the ink. So let's get into that. One of the things I'd like to say is this is the Arrtx 80A set. That is what it was labeled. One of the downsides is there's no refills, and that's kind of sad because the inks look really promising on the paper. Also, there's no single markers, and that's something that also confuses me because they have a barcode, but I couldn't find them sold individually anywhere. So maybe soon they're going to be doing that, but for now we have no idea. But the packaging is super cute, and I have been enjoying these very so much. One thing I can say is the black is smudging. It is smudging really bad, and you'll see with this highlighter one, which is why I chose this really bright one, it smudges super bad. And I let this sit for quite a bit of time to dry, and with the brown it looks like it's smudged, but that was just the transferring from the black. There was no smudging on the brown micron, so I'm not sure if the brown just has a different formula from the black, because they were put down at the same time. So if you're going to use these and you have the micron pens, if you have the black ones, be very wary because they do smudge, but if you have the brown ones, you'll be okay. So here's a close-up. Once again, I did another test a little bit later to test the black, and it's still smudged. And as you can see on the brown, there was no smudging whatsoever, even on the second round of testing. So then I went ahead and tested the markers over the white, and they do color over the white. I did put several layers down, so if you make very tiny mistakes, you could do it, but be wary because these do bleed through the paper. They bleed pretty bad through the paper. So if you are going to be coloring with this, I made the mistake and did my other drawing on the back half of this, so I was like, I actually won't be able to use it because they bleed through the paper. But let's get into actual coloring. Now, one thing I can say is these go down absolutely butter smooth. With my Copics, they go down smooth, but they tend to have this really bad freckling texture. For your guys' information, I do use the Arrtx multimedia sketchbook paper. I really like how that one works. It does the job for me. So I just wanted something that could pair with that, and these markers color great on them. They even blended very well. You can see here I did the blush, and I definitely think if you're going to be filling in smaller spaces, the bullet tip is nice for fine detail, but when it comes to blending, you would definitely need to get used to using the chisel tip. Not gonna say you can't blend with the bullet nib, because the first blending with the blush was with the bullet nib. The second blending with the blush was with the broad tip. I think it just puts a little more ink down, and that way it allows you to actually blend the inks together. But as far as the color ranges they give you really lots of, they could throw in some fluorescence, some pastels, you got mid-tones, light tones, dark tones. So they give you a really good variety here. For the brush set, if you're interested in that, it comes in the exact same color palette you see here, which is the 80 set, and they also have it in the skin tone set, which we will be checking out next week. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to test these markers in two different ways. I personally always line my art before I color, but I know there's a lot of people out there who color before they do their line art. So I wanted to test both of those ways just so you could see how it works. And honestly, if you are one of those people who put color down before and then put your line art on top, it's great because the black micron pens, they smudge. So I did end up using the black microns for this piece. So as I'm coloring, I really actually found that I had no problems whatsoever with these. Even though you don't have the brush tip, they still blend somewhat, and it kind of gives it a really nice texture, and I don't mind that. Now if you're someone who likes things really rendered out and very, very smooth, you could, I would say, go with the brush ones just because you can get much more of that fade with the flick. But if you know how to use a bullet or a chisel tip, these sets will be phenomenal. I can say don't waste your money on Copics unless you are filthy rich and just want to buy them. I would definitely suggest these Arrtx markers over the Copics, especially if you're a beginner. And one thing I love about these Arrtx markers is they came out with multiple sets in the regular ones. They just came out with the brush set like literally a week ago, so who would have known? But they come in sets by color family. So like I said, you can't do refills or single markers, but you can buy the color family. And honestly, you can get a set, I think, of 24 for like $20, $22. And then if it's the skin tone set, it's more like $30. But you also get 36 colors in that one opposed to the 24. So if you do run out of a certain set of markers in color theory, you can get a whole new set of just blues instead of buying another 80 set for double the price. So that's the biggest drawback I find with these markers, is just you have to buy a whole new set and you can't refill them. But if they came out with refills, I think these would be very, very comparable to Copic markers. So here I'm moving on to coloring this next piece how I like to color, which I use the brown micron just because it didn't smudge nearly as much. And so here I am going through and coloring her skin. As you see, I did do it in sections and I still got a really smooth gradient across all of her skin, and that was one of the coolest things, because with Copics I always have a hard time with getting it to be one color because I'm just bad with markers. So this is definitely as beginner friendly as it gets. One thing I am a little sad about is I didn't have too many brown colors for darker skin tones, but if you do get the skin tone set, there is a couple more, but they did put a lot of lights, and I wish I would have seen a little bit more range. I think I liked how this one came out a bit more. It might simply be because of the way I colored it. I colored it how I normally color things, which is with line art. And honestly, I wasn't mad at all at how it came out. It came out very well, and I'm just speechless because I never thought that these markers would pair up so well, like to a big brand like Copic. And honestly, I had never heard of these markers until literally last week. But I'm happy I stumbled across them because I'm definitely going to be investing in all of the sets. And another thing I want to talk about is packaging. I have never gotten markers where the packaging is so user-friendly and just so aesthetically pleasing. Not only do all of their marker sets come with some sort of stand, they also have little squares at the back, so when you slide your marker in, they actually go into a slot, which is really nice. And with the brush markers, those ones have, I think, a different setup, but with the bullet ones, they all come in very pretty custom-made boxes that unfold on the bottom, and then you can reach your color palette however you did. One thing I can say is these colors did not come organized like you see I did. I personally organized my colors based off of how they looked on my sketchbook. So just a heads up, when you get the set, don't think it's gonna look this color coded, because it's not. I did this myself. But as far as doing pieces with them, I think you have a good range of all the colors, and it'll give you a lot of opportunity to create really nice pieces throughout its lifetime. Now, unlike with my Ohuhus, I didn't have any problems with any of my markers being smushed down or anything. All of these markers came in pristine condition. But that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you would like to purchase these markers, there will be a link down below. But enjoy this little demo reel of my artwork, and bye!